All right. Welcome back to Eyes Open Media. Prophet John here. Hope you guys are doing well. Okay, so um, let's talk about racism. Now, I did a video on racism um, maybe a month or two ago when all this stuff was going on, and I made it very clear that the word racism is not being used in the correct content. It basically has been hijacked and changed by the people, the cabal or whatever, whoever runs the Zionists, whatever you want to call them. Okay, because the racism was a race. That's why it's race is a race, right? So it was a race by the Europeans to find new land and set up a system. That's why it has ISM in it. So ism is a system, right? It was a race to find new land, to set up a system, and then to build that system, build that community up, build that new land up using slaves. Okay, to work in the fields, build houses, build things, and to create a brand new system on the field, right? On the land, the new land that, of course, they thought it was new land, but that land's already been there for thousands of years. And our ancestors and African ancestors that walked through that land and thousands of years ago, thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. But whatever. Okay, so that was what racism was, and then they switched it. I don't know when I'm not sure what year they switched the meaning of racism. But then they switched it to say you're racist. You're practicing racism towards me, and that might have been in the 40s and 50s and 60s. Because that's when this word really started to soar in the vocabulary of the Western culture. You're a racist. You're racism towards me, right? Because integration was taking place, right? And so integration was taking place. So then it became you're racist. You're racism. It became about racism. Oh no, we don't want them. We don't want them going to the same schools we're going to. Some of you guys were embarrassed by your ancestors for that because they're on video. Well, if your ancestors, let me put it this way: if your ancestors are on video saying I don't want those Negroes in my school with me, you're probably not watching this video. You probably don't follow me because you probably have gotten annoyed by me by now, but for telling the truth about a lot of things. So you probably don't follow me right now. But can you imagine waking up and you wake up and you're in America and you know that there's videos out there of your ancestors and your grandmother, your great grandmother, being a teenager saying we don't want those Negroes in our schools or in our churches praying with us. Wow, can you imagine that? Can you I mean, what would you do? I mean, some of you guys probably have videotapes of your family members saying a lot of racist stuff. Because they changed the word, racist. That's it's not really they're not really saying racist stuff, but they changed the word. They changed the meaning of racism and racist. So we'll just go with what they changed it to, even though we know the real definition isn't that. Okay, um, but you got people out here, as you can see, this young lady, right? Young, she looks like she's mixed. Okay, she's bronze and has some Caucasian in her or something else. So she looks mixed, and then you have the Caucasians behind helping and saying no to racism, right? The problem with racism is the new definition of racism is that it still has ISM in it, which is a system. It's not an individual thing. See, the reason why people have been marching since the 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s about racism right? And it can never get solved is because you're looking at people and you're saying, stop being racist. And that's just not going to work. As you can see, in the last 50, 60, 70, 100 years, it hasn't worked, right? Because you can't go to individuals. Racism is not going to stop with going individual by door to door and telling people stop being racist. Racism has the word ISM in it, meaning that it is a system. It's a system, so that means that you have to remove and break the system. Guess what happens when you remove and break the system? Then a lot of that the people that you're calling racist no longer have the power and the control that they use to hide under their hatred. So it's a system. So Black Lives Matter and all these people that are protesting are saying, stop doing this, you stop doing that, you stop hating these people, you stop hating those people. That's never going to stop because people are and have been injected through generational curses this hatred towards other skin colors and other people. It's a generational curse that people have been gotten through their grandfathers and grandmothers and stuff. So you can't just tell people to say, stop being racist, stop being prejudiced, stop being hateful. They can't stop because it's a generational curse. It's in their bloodline to hate you, okay? It's a bloodline thing. Even if they try to stop, it's just gonna come out. I know some of you guys have been around people that are like, okay, these people really hate me, but they're keeping it to themselves, and at some point it's gonna boil over. They can, sometimes they will try for a week or two, and then they'll be like, okay, I've had it. And then it spills over. Why? Because it's in their bloodline, it's in their DNA, it's in them, okay, through their ancestors. You can't change that, but you can break the system that gives them that power to and that privilege to do the things that they're doing. Right? So you can't change people from hating you, but you can change the system that allows them to hate you and to suppress you and to marginalize you and to not allow you to get loans like everybody else or degrade you. That's the system that allows them to do that. If you remove the system, then they are not going to do that. Regardless of how much they hate you, they must give you the same loan they gave the Asian. They must give you the same loan they gave the Spanish person. They must give you the same loan they gave the Caucasian person, right? If a Caucasian person comes into a black-owned, bank, they must give the same loans to that Caucasian as they give to that bronze woman, that Asian woman. Right? It's the system, folks. It's not, you can't go to individual people and say stop doing this and stop being this. And it doesn't work that way. It will never end if you do that. And that's the problem with America. And see, this is why the elites are sitting there in their secret meetings and their hiding places just laughing at the American people because you don't get it. You don't understand that it's a system. It's not about individual people. Individual people are doing the things that they're doing because the system allows them to do it. This should be common sense, man, but it's not common sense. People are literally going door to door to people and saying, you need to stop being racist. You need to stop doing. And yet they believe that if they just speak it and say, you need to stop doing this, that these people will stop. No, it's in their DNA. It's in their bloodstream. That means that now for them to be cured of it, right? They need to fast. We all know that. When you want to break generational curses, you must fast. They're going to need to fast, and they need to do warfare prayers. But how many people know about fasting and warfare prayers? How many of these people that are racist, right, or prejudiced or hateful are going to fast and do warfare prayers, right? Not a lot of them. Okay, but that's how they get rid. That's how they would get rid of that generational curse, and that's how you get rid of all generational curses. By the way, if you didn't know that, is by fasting and warfare prayers, right? And praying specifically for that thing to be removed, right? Because generational curses come with thousands of demons. They got these, so the demons of hatred and prejudice and hate towards skin color, hate towards this, hate towards ethnicity, and all these other things. Those come with thousands of demons. Those are generational curses that you need the power of Yeshua to break off you. And even when even when it's broken off you, you'll still have residue of it from time to time, right? Oh, he's changed a lot, but sometimes he'll snap and say Negro, and then he'll say I'm sorry, right? So, uh, or Nigger, you know, or cracker, and then they'll I'm sorry, I apologize. It just slipped out because there's still residue, right? And so, but I have the problem I have with this is that the young people are being taught the wrong way, just like we were taught the wrong way, just like your parents were taught the wrong way, our grandparents were taught the wrong way. And so the problem is that our children are being taught the wrong way. The young people are being taught the wrong way, and they're following the cycle that we did and our parents did and our grandparents did, and it doesn't work, as we can see. No one is telling them, wait a minute, wait a minute. No one's saying, wait a minute, this hasn't worked for 100 years. Why are we still doing the same thing again? Right? No one is saying that except for me. I don't know anybody. Maybe there's some other people on there that are actually speaking this, but I'm pretty sure they are. It's just they're hard to find on YouTube because everybody's censored now. I mean, I got 31,000 subscribers plus on here, and I could barely do 200 views on a video. How's that possible? Well, it's possible when YouTube censors your videos and only sends them out to like 50 people. You know, if YouTube was sending my videos out to every subscriber, I would these videos would do 1 million views easily, but they don't. So they send it out to 50 people, and then maybe three or four of those people share the videos, and boom, there you go. There's 200 views, right? Um, So, but like I say, I don't. I'm just gonna put the videos out there, and when time comes for people to wake up, guess what? The videos are out there, and maybe they'll see the videos in the future and things like that. So, but the young people right now are being taught incorrectly, and they're gonna continue the same mistakes that we did unless we talk about it. All right, racism is not individual. You're not gonna stop racism by going individual people and saying you need to stop, you need to stop, you need to stop this, you need to stop that. Doesn't work that way. You need to break the system. You need to stop the system that allows people to do the things that they do. You need to stop the system that allows inequality. Stop the system that allows hatred. Stop the system break the system that allows these things to happen, that allows people to believe that they have privilege over everybody else. I'm more superior than you because of my skin color, not because of what I've done in school, not because of my degrees, not because of the work I've done, not because of my accomplishment, but just because of my skin color. I'm more superior than you. I just believe that in my mind, and not just my mind. The system backs me up, and so that's the problem. That's where you get the racism, right? So it's the system that needs to be broken and destroyed. And that's what we need to be teaching the young people and the teenagers. It's the system. Stop going after individuals because it will never work. Just look at your history. You must now go after the system. You must now break the system. Now, some people, including maybe some of you people that are watching me right now, you don't want the system to break because it benefits you, right? Some of you people don't want the system to actually break because then you'll lose your privilege. So some of you people are hiding and haven't said anything on social media because you actually love the system that degrades other people because it benefits your life. Ouch. That's not that's not godly. Number one. Number two, that's not the kingdom of God. No, number two, and that's not that has nothing to do and being in the grace of Yeshua at all. So you need to look in the mirror and say, why is this way? Why am I thinking this way? Why don't I want this system that degrades people, hurts people, harms people, makes me feel like I'm better than everybody because of a skin color or having no color? Some people. I've seen people on YouTube say, Caucasians are people of no color. Well, I mean, they don't. I mean, they're white. I mean, I guess you can say no color. I guess that works as well. Whatever. Okay, but it's the system. It's the system, and then it's generational curses. But I know that a lot of you people aren't speaking out, and there's a reason why you aren't speaking out. Is because number one, maybe you want to stay on code, right? Number two, the system benefits you, and you don't want to lose your benefits in the system. So you will allow other people to be destroyed for your benefits. That's terrible. If you could just sit back and think about that, that's horrible. That's horrible that you even would accept that, right? So we need to realize and tell these young people it's not individuals. Going after individuals isn't going to work. You must go after the system. Laws, policies, executive orders, the Constitution, all these things that have allowed this thing called now they've changed it to racism, but and prejudice and and suppression and degrading and things like that. This thing that has been allowed is through the system, and we need to change. That needs to be broken and changed. And when that's broken and changed, you're barely gonna see it. You'll barely see, and if you did see it, it would just be it wouldn't be it would just be maybe once a month. You know what I mean? Instead of every day. It would just be once a month. You know, because there wouldn't be any privilege to you doing that any longer. There wouldn't be any protection for you doing that any longer. Right? People would keep their mouths shut. People won't feel like they can speak and hate towards people and call people all types of names, knowing that the system is backing them up and police officers are backing them up. If that system broke and everybody was equal in the system and police protected everybody in the system and banks gave loans to everybody in the system and everybody competed at the equal level, there was no more ghettos and hoods and poor neighborhoods, but everybody lived in either the city or the outskirts or the country or the suburbs, and everything was equal. People could equally make it just like you. Racism would go away. Racism would go away in a heartbeat because the system wouldn't be there to back you up. One of the reasons why I love Dubai, because in Dubai, everybody was rich. Like no one cared about that stuff. You know, everybody's rich. Everybody, everybody. Well, not every. We know not everybody's rich, but literally 90% of the people that were there were rich. So like people aren't worried about stupidity. Like when you have money, you don't you don't think about these things. When you're broke and you're just sitting in your home, and you're planning all these things, that's when you start thinking about all this stupidity stuff. But when you're rich, you're flying around, you're driving in nice cars, you're at dealerships, you're at the mall, you're eating in fancy restaurants. There's always things to do. Your day's busy. You're not sitting around thinking about racism and how to degrade people. That's what you do when you're poor and bored. That's what you get when you come when you put all these things, these hateful things together. It's because you're bored and you're poor. You know, most rich people, that are normal, not talking about the Zionists or the Illuminati puppets and stuff like that. I'm talking about normal white people. They don't have time for this stuff. Their schedule is busy and they going about and they have a good life. It's mostly the people with a lot of time on their hand come out. Yeah, I mean, what could I do to hate on people? All right, so let's make sure that we're teaching the right thing. There's a reason why there's an ISM at the end there. It's a system, and if you break that system, then there is no more racism because the people that are racist, they won't have the backing from the system, and so they wouldn't do what they wouldn't be bold enough to do the things that they do because the system wouldn't back them up. They only do the things that they're doing because they know the police and the system and the courts back them up. If you remove that, you take that away, they're not going to do the things that they're doing. There wouldn't be these Karens and all these Karen videos and Kevin videos and all these other videos out there. There wouldn't be this stuff because everybody would be equal in the system. And they would know, everybody's equal in the system. I can't block this person from going into their own apartment building, right? Because I'm going to get dealt with. That's how you stop these things. Anyways, peace out. God bless. Hope you guys are doing well. And that's it. Eyes open. Bye.